$155.
Shadow Kvlt, yes.
The Horseman Podcast.
Hi.
So we're ending the Shadow Cult and we're starting the Shadow Poll.
There you go.
God.
Shadow Poll on a pole match.
Hey, if Nikki Lines is on a poll, I'll be on that poll all day long.
It's a poll on a pole match.
Mm-hmm.
Judy Bagwell on the forklift.
So they're going to start on top of Cobo Hall.
This whole thing again.
Cobo Hall.
So there's a truck with hay.
Yes.
Hey!
And Jake Roberts is the special referee.
Hey!
While talking to the ladies.
Hey!
Take to the road!
Jackasses galore.
There we go. Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
I want to have a Kiss My Jackass match.
But anyway, what's the subject for our series finale?
I don't know.
79.
Heroes of Wrestling? Yes!
Heroes of Wrestling!
Yeah, Heroes of Wrestling. Big Rib Levi, that's what we're actually talking about.
Swerve, bro.
WPG, bro.
That's the real reason he's ending this podcast, by the way. He does not want to talk about Heroes of Wrestling anymore so much that he is ending this whole thing just because of that.
Don't
deny it.
Don't worry. Next year, the tradition will keep on going. We're going to do it one more time.
That's right. Yes, we are.
But this time, it counts.
And this time, we mean it.
Yeah.
But anyways.
We're going to be serious.
Yeah, last time it was unsanctioned, so it does not count in the record books.
Anyway, so yeah, series finale, episode 155. And I hear myself in the background.
Echo.
Not anymore.
Echo.
I think we're good now. We're good now.
Okay.
Anyway, so 155 series finale, we are talking about a topic we've wanted to talk about for years now on this show. And what better way to talk about it than in the final episode? Top 10 Wrestling Championship Belt Designs. Because over the years, there have been a lot of great-looking championship belts.
Couple, maybe a couple hundred. Just to name a couple, you know.
But, yeah, there have also been some bad ones. We'll talk about some bad ones at the end of this, but we're going to talk about the cream of the crop. Oh, yeah.
La cream of the crop.
Ooh, yeah.
How do you say cream of the crop in Spanish?
Ooh. Let's see.
How do you make a woman cream in Spanish?
Cream is crema.
I'll tell you later on, boss.
Yeah. La copa de la crema. Crema de la copa.
Crema da copa.
That's basically the same
There you
thing.
go.
Cream of the crop. There you go.
I cream my crotch.
Whatever you do in the comfort of your own room is your home.
Says
Get
the
alive,
man that
kid.
says the man who had a belt and was about to strangle himself.
Yeah.
Get a life,
Who said I was
kid.
strangling
Kinky
myself?
bastard up here.
He has issues.
Shut up, Kenny.
Shut up, Meg.
Shut up, Meg.
Ah, crap.
But anyway, so let's get on to our individual lists. We're going to save honorable mentions this time for after the top 10. So, kicking off my number 10, in my personal opinion, out of all the WWF, WWE Championship belt designs, this is the most underappreciated and underrated. The Undisputed title from 2002 to 2005.
The Heritage Championship design. That's what it's officially called.
But yeah, I've always been a fan of that design. Granted, it's like an up-to-date version of the Big Eagle belt, just a little more streamlined and a little more oval instead of circular. But I honestly would wish they would just bring that damn design back for the WWE Championship and not the big fucking logo belts that I hate. But that's another subject for later on. So, yeah, the Undisputed title, 02 to 05. And who would be some of the names you would think of with that belt? Brock Lesnar, Kurt
Brock
Angle,
Lesnar,
Eddie Guerrero,
Eddie,
JBL. Even you think of him
JBL
with
big
that
time.
belt.
Cena for a brief time.
But yeah,
Hogan.
Hogan. Yeah.
Triple H
did,
was the first
Triple H was the
champion.
first one, yeah.
Kurt Angle.
Big
Kurt
Show.
Angle. Fuck's sake. Big Show. Yeah.
But yeah, my number 10, the undisputed title from 02 to 05. Boss?
My number 10 is the most obscure one on my list. The AJPW Triple Crown title. Designed from 2013 to current. I've always been a big fan of this design. It makes it feels like you're actually winning a Triple Crown title, whereas instead of carrying 3 belts at once, you're actually carrying a title that kind of feels larger than life. And yeah, I just always been a huge fan of this design. I always feel like it always gets underappreciated because there's not a whole lot of, let's say, viewing eyes in All Japan. Like way back in its heyday, that was like the top promotion along with New Japan at the time. But nowadays, it kind of doesn't get talked about as much. But their world title, basically, I've always been a huge fan of. So yeah, my number 10, the Triple Crown title.
Scott.
All right. I do have some visual aids here that I'm going to hopefully be able to share with you all. So my number 10, if it comes up properly, is the UWF World Championship. Sorry, Herb Abrams Ghost, not your UWF.
I know.
Universal Wrestling Federation of Bill Watts. That's the one that I remember seeing, a lot of times. It was always stood out. Once again, had that oval type design, like you were saying, with the undisputed title. Just that big, huge centerpiece right there with UWF and logo. Ring of Honor would use the same design for their first world championship as well. And it's kind of an exclusive title because only 4 guys ever held that belt. Gang, Rogers, Gordy, and Williams. That was it. Nobody else ever had that title. So it's got quite the elite class with it, and it's carried on, like I said, with Ring of Honor. So always loved that design. That's my number 10.
Ricky?
My number 10 is one of the first custom-made championships for a wrestler that I'm aware of when I was watching wrestling, when I started watching wrestling. The Stone Cold Austin belt.
The Smoking Skull belt.
Yes, I always loved that belt design with the skull in the middle, with the flames coming out. To the point that I think only 2 people held that title, which was Stone Cold, of course, and Taker when he won it from
Mankind.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Really?
Because he won it at SummerSlam 99.
Didn't Rock have it too, or stole it or something?
He stole it.
No, he stole it. But I always thought that that was one of the first custom-made championships for a specific wrestler. So that always stood out. I mean, how many people can say they have their own custom-made championship belt? Not that many people. Not that many people. Unlike the replicas that they're sending for the anniversary, some of them suck. But that's a different story. But yeah, that's my number 10.
James.
My number 10 is the most recent belt on my list, and it's a current belt. It's the AEW World Title. I really fucking enjoy that design of the belt. It has a combination of a lot of different belts throughout the years combined into one. When it was first revealed, it was like, you know what? This is a fucking good looking belt.
It's different.
So
Yeah.
can't really complain about it. You can complain about a lot of things about AEW, but their belt designs are actually pretty damn good.
Yeah,
With AEW and their title designs, they kind of go above and beyond.
Yeah, they do.
Most of the time.
Oh yeah, and their world title's the best of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like the Mid-South North American title was like an influence to the design of it. You look at that title, like DiBiase and Duggan and those guys had that belt. It's kind of along the same lines, of course, tweaked for a modern look.
There, some of the old TNA titles, a little bit of the big gold in there.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, now on to number 9. My number 9, the ECW World Heavyweight Championship, I want to say from 98 to 2001.
It's on my list.
The big one that like Douglas and Taz had, or I'm sorry, you mean Mike Awesome and that belt? I'm thinking of a different one.
Well,
Yeah,
Douglas and Taz had that.
Belt.
And Taz.
The final
But
world
I think of a
title.
different style of world title for them. So,
But yeah, that version of the ECW title I always loved. And also, to me, that is the belt that, for me, is synonymous with ECW. Because, yeah, you look at their early belts, not the best, and then even
garbage.
And then
They
when
look
they
like
were...
WWF belts.
I was about to say that. Yeah, like the tag titles.
It was getting their foot in the door with it.
Yeah.
Well,
But
hell,
this-
their old TV title was like the Hogan '86 Championship centerpiece with no side plates. It was like,
And then it was the Winged Eagle.
Then it was the Winged Eagle. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Their tag belts were the Intercontinental title. When I first saw them in the magazines when I was a little kid, I'm like, oh my god, they look like those.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this ECW World Heavyweight Championship, my number 9. Boss?
My number 9 is the only TNA title I have on my list. Despite TNA has some really good designs, but in my opinion, their world title from 2011 to 2017 is by far their best. I've always loved this design. It gives them their own identity. Like the X Division title was good, and their first world title after the whole NWA TNA partnership kind of blew up. They were trying with their own world title, which it was good, but I think this is a bit better. This is their big gold belt, in my opinion. And a lot of great names: Bobby Roode, Jeff Hardy, Bully Ray, James Storm, Kurt Angle, Sting, Mr. Kennedy. You know, so many greats have held this belt.
Eli Drake?
Yeah.
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 And then the whole Global Force wrestling thing and got all that. Yeah, that was a big convoluted mess. And their new title is okay. It doesn't really stand out as much, but this version of the world title, I was obviously, my number 9.
Scott.
My number 9 is probably one, I'm going to guess every single one of you guys has this on your list, but it probably will be something that, just give me a second here. Trying to make sure I have it up here if I can show you all. There we go. You probably all have this on your list, but I probably have it like the lowest of all of us here. And it is the Winged Eagle. I mean, yeah, it's a classic. We all know how much it defined. I know Levi always oversells. But I mean, it's got so much history to it, so much legacy behind it. I remember seeing that thing show up in real time around Hogan's waist at the main event against Andre on NBC. Like, what? Because there was no pomp and circumstance. There was no big celebration or big reveal of this championship. It was just there. he goes in the back. He comes out. He's got the belt on. Like, okay. But as time went on, the names you think of with that title, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, all the Diesel and everyone else that had that title. So definitely defines a generation and is memorable and iconic. That's my number 9.
Ricky.
My number 9, when you think of the Attitude Era, there's 2 championships that automatically come to mind. But this is the one that always everyone names it. The Big Eagle WWE Championship. Just the fact the names who've held that title: Austin, Rock, Foley, Taker, Angle, Triple H. You name it, the biggest names of the Attitude Era. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to think. I don't know who told the story that championship, the Round cut a wrestler. I don't know who cut him.
Austin.
Was it
The
Austin?
original,
got
the original version, the
blue
block
strap.
logo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It cut him. A bar snapped off, and the strap went from blue to black. Like,
Yeah, it was when he went to go boot. He went to go boot McMahon for the stunner, and when he booted him, his shoulder came up and cut him right there.
I love the black strap. The blue strap was okay, but the black strap's so iconic. I mean, oh man, just everything about it. The shape of it, the design. I mean, from the Winged Eagle to the Big Eagle, kind of an improvement, or depending on who you ask. Yeah, that's my number 9.
James.
My number 9, Ricky talked about custom titles earlier. This, I think, was the original custom title. The $1 Million Championship of Ted DiBiase's.
Yep.
I mean, it's unlike any other championship there's ever been, because it's just the money signs. It's synonymous with the era. You remember the Wrestle Buddy, the Tonka toy of Ted DiBiase, had the $1 Million Championship. It's one of those that only select few held it. DiBiase, Virgil, Austin, Ted Jr., LA Knight, Cameron Grimes. And that was it.
Jake stole it.
Golda stole it.
Yep.
And I actually do like in kayfabe, well, Ted's like, well, I can't buy the WWF title. I'll just make my own.
He couldn't buy the WWF title. He couldn't win the WWF title. So I'm going to buy my own belt. That's going to be a quote $1 million. It was $40,000.
Yeah,
but it was legit made in Stamford, Connecticut. No, Greenwich, Connecticut.
Greenwich. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if a certain man with 3 H's lives there.
And the segments setting up the reveal of the $1 million title were great.
I love you.
All right, my number 8. Now, boss, you were talking about a TNA World title. You must be on crack if you think that belt is better than this one. The 2007 to 2010 TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The reason why I choose this one over the one you said, boss, is because I didn't like the color scheme of the logo on the belt. It just clashed too much with the belt. Whereas this, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship that Kurt Angle won at Slammiversary 07.
And kept on breaking.
Yeah, it kept breaking. But
to the point where the belt creator said, yeah, we're not fixing it anymore.
What, the Hardcore Championship?
But this is the belt that makes me think TNA. Like, I like the design on it with like the little curves at the top and the logo being intelligible. Like, whenever TNA got all their new championships after the NWA split, I thought all 3 of their belts, eventually 4 belts, all looked fantastic. Like, TNA, for the most part, knew how to do championship belts right. Looking at you, WWE nowadays. But yeah, the names that have held this particular TNA title: Angle, AJ, Joe, Sting, fucking,
Hardy.
I could...
Well, no, RVD.
RVD,
yeah. RVD, yeah. There's
Mick Foley.
Yeah, Mick Foley, if you can believe it. So, yeah, Booker T stole it.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That is my number 8. Boss.
Yeah, looking back at what you said, yeah, I kind of agree. The thing is, it felt like they was trying to make their version of the big cookie belt of the WWF.
Big Eagle.
You know what I mean.
The cookie belt.
Big cookie. Me want cookie.
That's strike. That's strike 2 and 99.999999999
Sky Presto 9!
Fuck's sake.
9999.
Anyways.
Get her back. Anyways, I've heard people call it the big cookie belt for some weird reason. I always thought that was what it's called. Anyways, my number 8. I've always loved this design. The new design, I'm not a huge fan of, but the one before it, absolute love. The IWGP World Title from 2008 to 2021. The new design, I'm going to be briefly honest, it looks like a Power Rangers toy.
Garbage.
Yeah. It's horrible.
It looks like the Divas Championship.
And it doesn't even have the same lineage either. It's a brand new belt altogether.
Yeah.
Which was stupid.
Lucy. Well, no, it's actually Gato or... Gato.
Yeah.
Booking, but the one for 2008 to 2021, I've always loved this design. And think about the names that have held it. Styles, Nakamura, Jay White, Omega, Tanahashi, Okada. just so many greats have held this title, and it's like going back to what I said with the TNA belt. It's their big gold belt. It feels like it's their own title. It's the Japan title, if you want to be.
When you think of the IWGP title, you think that version.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
and some of their belt designs were good in New Japan, like their Intercontinental title. I thought was good. And kind of did.
Their older world titles were great.
Mhm.
The version
Yeah, they
1, the
were,
version
but I've
2,
always
the
liked-
version 3.
I've always liked this one more, though. I
Yeah.
like the bronze. Like I like the bronze kind of color with it, but then they kind of updated just like a little bit. But yeah, enough rambling. Number 8's from IWGP World.
And it's an expensive replica.
Oh God, yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't that championship hold the names of every single person who's held that title?
Yeah, it holds every IWGP champion as the side plates.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Scott?
Ricky already mentioned it.
Yep.
Of course. I mean, come on. One of the
Why?
best ones ever made. What?
What?
And
Okay.
also notice WWF logo. Thank you very much.
Well, one of those original 1999s, I'm guessing.
So
Yeah.
You got it. Yep. I mean, it's got the the white snake skin
Yeah.
strap
Why?
there. Not the most professional looking, but it's freaking kick-ass belt. I bought this and the big gold at the same time back in like 2000. I think it was late 99, 2000, and don't have the big gold anymore. But I ain't giving this one up. This goes with me in the casket. Wow, that was dark. But yeah, so
Alongside your base.
The base is actually going to get burned, and the ashes go in the casket with me. Let's go into that. Let's move on. So
This took a dark turn.
you got to have a plan, boys. So yeah, this one right here, number 8. Absolutely love this one. What? Absolutely love this one. What? Absolutely love this one.
What?
Yeah.
Ricky?
My number 8, Levi, you mentioned it, the ECW World Title. Of course, from 98 to 2001. And then, of course, they brought it back in the WWE ECW.
Early on.
We don't
yeah.
talk
Early.
about that.
The early, yeah, but I always like that design. When I think of ECW, I think of that championship
Long
design.
live the Big Show. Long live ECWWE.
Yeah, but when I think of ECW, the true ECW, that championship always
Eastern
out.
Championship Wrestling?
I knew you were gonna say that, but I knew you were gonna say that, but yeah,
Wrestling?
but
HHG.
yeah,
Okay, Lawler.
but yeah, I love that championship. It's one of those few championships that they made something different, and I just love the fact that they have the world in the middle. The fucking fonting of the letters I always thought was fucking edgy. I mean, then again, ECW was edgy, so yeah, I liked everything about it.
We're edgy, bro.
And Taz actually had his own specified version of that belt too. I used to have that replica
With
wish I still
the
did.
Taz name, and it was
It was the orange strap.
orange
It was like
snake
the
skin.
orange snakeskin strap on the back.
Because
Yep.
yeah, his whole thing was Taz 632.
Right.
Yeah.
Twice
Oh,
as
yeah.
pissed.
Mhm.
All right, James, you're number 8.
It's already been mentioned, the Heritage title, 02 to 05, the Undisputed.
That was
There
very
you go.
late.
God,
Oh,
I
yeah.
could,
I mean, when you think of the Ruthless Aggression era in WWE, you think that belt.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, now my number 7. Some people might be shocked this is as low on the list as it is. My number 7, the Dome Globe 10 pounds of gold NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Mhm.
really.
Not really that shocked.
I mean, arguably among the top 3 most recognizable championships in the history of the business.
It's the oldest belt still going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
enough said there. Boss.
Yeah. I had to put on a fucking dinosaur, but anyways, my number 7, y'all have talked about it, the Heritage title, the WWF/WWE Undisputed title from 02 to 05. I've always loved this design. Thanks, John, for getting rid of it and making it into a fucking toy afterwards, but that's
That
beside-
sold millions.
It still looks like a toy.
Or- defense of the Spinner Championship, it was at the time cool when it was first announced.
If it was for Cena.
If it was for Cena, fine, but for everybody else, why?
Yeah, kind of like The Rock
they
said.
tried doing it with Edge, and it could have worked, but it did, but it didn't. But that's
the U.S. Spinner belt was better, anyways.
Oh yeah.
I wish they actually for Edge's title they could have actually used the title Edge wanted it. You know.
Yeah.
And people have actually made bootleg versions of that design.
I'd like to get one of those.
But yeah, I've always loved this design. Like, every time the Ruthless Aggression era happens, this is like the first title that immediately pops to mind. Just instantly. Lesnar, Angle, Guerrero, JBL, Cena, Big Show, Hunter, Hogan, Taker. You know, so many greats have held this title, and it only lasted 3 years. Only 3 years it lasted, which is a damn shame. If it lasted at 07, then I think it would have been more recognized as it is today. But, you know, for what is really damn good stuff. So yeah, my number 7.
All right, Scott.
My number 7, James is going to appreciate this one. The U.S. Championship from the NWA.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Nikita, Lex Luger, Dusty, you know, a lot of the names you remember seeing in the title. It was one of those ones that, again, you know what championship it is just by looking at it from a distance. You can see without even seeing the lettering. Oh, that must be a championship for the United States or America or something. Boom! What a concept!
Magnum
championship, actually.
Magnum, yeah.
Magnum, yep. So yeah, and just like the other belts too, it just defines a generation. It just makes you think automatically. I see that. I see Dusty. I see Luger. I see Nikita. I see Magnum. I see all those guys. So yeah, definitely iconic. Number 7.
Ricky.
I briefly mentioned when you think of the Attitude Era, of course, I mentioned the Big Eagle, and the second championship, the Hardcore Championship. I love that design, that kind of broken of the Winged Eagle with taped all around the title.
That wasn't destroyed. That wasn't the same destroyed belt that Perfect destroyed, people.
No,
which was the rumor for a year.
That was the rumor for years, but the Hardcore Champion was so much fun. Taker, Kane, Raven,
Van
Crash
Dam.
Holly, Van Dam, you name it. Almost anybody who was anybody.
Road
the
Dogg,
Hardcore
Boss
Champion.
Man.
Yep.
Boss. Steve Blackman.
Godfather's Ho.
I mean, that's how the 24 championship should have been. Yeah, but I love that design. And another one of those championships I might one day get because it's so fun.
Good luck trying to find a decent replica that isn't.
Yeah.
Terrible.
You would have to smash up a Winged Eagle and create your own. And it's not the Hardcore Championship, it's the Hampionship. Because there was never a C with the champion.
Who would have thought a championship originally meant just for Mick Foley became so much of an iconic title in the Attitude Era that it created some of the craziest matches in the Attitude Era.
Oh, yeah. It was a fun belt.
It was a fun belt, especially the 24/7 rule, the Crash Holly.
Even before that, with Hardcore Holly and Al Snow in the Mississippi River.
Oh, God.
Yep.
I might watch that match. That was so fun.
James.
My number 7 is a United States Championship, but it's the one that came after the NWA. I love that one. I have that replica on my shelf. But the 91 to 01 US title, whether it was the 5-plater or the 3-plater, it's one of those, like, watching WCW back in those days, like, that was a cool fucking belt. Guys like Sting and DDP, Lex,
Eddie,
Trying to be bad. Austin.
Rick Rude, Steve Austin, Ricky
Steamboat.
Steamboat, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, General
Vader.
Huge Erection,
yep,
Lance Storm, Terry Funk.
Bret Hart.
yep.
Goldberg.
And then they brought it into WWE during the Invasion with Rhino and Tajiri and Kurt Angle,
Canyon.
Edge,
Yeah, Cannon too.
Booker T.
Booker T, yeah.
Test.
The 3-plater was the first replica belt I ever bought.
Tessa wasn't U.S. Never mind.
No.
Okay,
And neither
He
was Johnny B.
he was
Bad.
IC going against Edge. My bad.
That's strike 3 now.
You're done, boss.
And now he sinks into
But yeah,
oblivion.
that United States title is a classic. Even
All
when
right.
Lance Storm put the Canada sticker on it.
Yep.
When he won the Cruiserweight and the Hardcore title, he called it the
The Saskatchewan Hardcore International title.
Title.
Shit.
Shit. Love it.
And yes, it was.
And it was, yes.
Oh,
All right, so my number 6 is the highest ranked TNA belt, the 2007 through 2013 X Division Championship. I really love this design. I was never a big fan of the original X Championship where it was just the big red X on it. It was like
NWA,
It was
TNA, X title.
it
It
was
didn't
just
even have champion. It was title.
yeah, it was just like two in your face. It's like maybe a nice little streamlined X would be there. No, you take the big fucking X, you dumb bastard.
You
Thank God.
take it and you like it.
I
Thank
didn't
God
know
they.
pirate porn was a thing. Thanks, Levi.
Thank God after the NWA split, they were able to get a new belt, and it was infinitely better with the more streamlined X and the logo on top. And think of all the names that have held that belt. Jay Lethal, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, I think, held it maybe once.
No, AJ
Or-
didn't.
Nah, he didn't. Nah. Sabin, fucking
Everyone's
Abyss
favorite
even
Austin
held
Aries.
it. Austin Aries held it. Hell, even Abyss held it for a short time.
Kazarian, Brian Kendrick, Doug Williams.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, 2007 to 2013 X Division title, my number 6. Boss.
My number 6, I'm willing to bet you guys have this on your list, and it was just on Levi's shoulder. The IC title for the WWE 1988 to 1998. How about
85.
Yeah, 85 to 80. Yeah, 80.
Oh, it was
85 to 90. Yep.
Late
yeah.
85. Mm-hmm.
85, yeah.
I thought I saw the lineage of 88 to 80. Okay, it's my mistake. But yeah, what can I say about this title hasn't been said? This title screams workhorse. Screams workhorse. Rock, Austin, Owen and Brett, Steamboat, Savage, Warrior,
Perfect.
Rude, Perfect,
Honky Tonk Man.
Piper,
Ultimate
Honky Tonk
Warrior. Well,
the Mountie.
Okay, to be fair, Warrior was a fucking awesome IC champion.
He was.
Rowdy Piper.
Buddy Piper, yeah.
Piper, just so
Dean
many.
Douglas.
Yes.
Dean Douglas.
Diesel,
Marty Jannetty.
Razor Ramon.
Yes.
Diesel.
Yes.
Nash,
Marty Jannetty.
Tito Santana.
Mark
Even
Mero,
Goldust.
yes, Tito.
First gotta have it. Mhm.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait,
Ahmed
wait,
Johnson, Levi's favorite.
Yes, the Big Johnson.
The Big Johnson himself.
Since this is the last show, I'll say it
Mark
one final
Mero.
time. I'll say it one final time since this is the final episode. Ahmed Johnson, the reason you weren't pushed is because you couldn't talk and you were made out of glass. Stop being a fucking idiot. Anyways.
I am the Big Johnson. But besides that, this is
And you smell what the Big Johnson is cooking.
Out of my ass.
Big Dick Johnson.
Moving on.
We got some baby oil.
Scott, you're number 6.
All right, I'm moving on. Here's another obscure title for my number. What is this? Number 6.
Six.
Number 6.
No.
Number 6.
6.
For the number 666 championship, I present you one that Ricky should appreciate: the World Class Championship Wrestling Texas Heavyweight Championship belt.
Yeah. I almost had it on the list. I almost had it.
This one stood out so much to me as a kid when I was watching World Class, on syndication back then. It was just so different because I'm so used to. I'm living in the Northeast. I'm watching WWF, AWA in syndication. I don't get Jim Crockett promotions where I'm living, but we get World Class, Legends of World Class. Like, oh, there's their at that time NWA American Championship was their top title. And they had the American Tag Team titles. And then there's this Texas Championship. Like, what? they have a Texas champion. Wow! And that belt design itself, don't see much copies of it out there that I can remember of any other other indie promotions or territories having that kind of design. Probably do, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But the lineage of that title, with all the Von Erichs, Gino Hernandez, Chris Adams, Bruiser Brody, and on and on and on. And shout out to my good friend JP Black. He wrestled in the NWA Southwest, and he was NWA Southwest Texas champion. The lineage of that title goes back to the World Class Texas title. So my buddy's name is forever enshrined with those other big names there. So big shout out to JP. And yeah, that's my number 6, the World Class Texas title. I want to get a replica of this one someday myself.
Did any of the Von Erichs win that title?
Pretty much every one of them, except Mike.
I mean,
David pretty much owned it, and Kerry had it. Kevin had it. Don't think Fritz.
What about Fritz?
No, Fritz. I don't think Fritz had it yet. Lance was a tag champion, I believe, but I don't think he was ever Texas champion.
That was a
And probably but let's also Brian Adias probably helped that title too. So not everybody's a legend who held it, but
that's true.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah. But again, that design, fantastic. Ricky.
Oh. So my number 6, it is a championship that everyone knew I was gonna have, and I had to put it, the AAA Mega Campeonato.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is their big gold belt. I'll tell you that much. This is their big gold belt, and I like the fact that right in the middle of the championship, you have the Aztec symbol. How much Mexican can you get like that? And a lot of people don't know this, that a lot of people think that the AAA Mega Campeonato is as old as the promotion, when it's actually not. This championship was actually created in 2007, which is funny to think that. So the history of this championship, before it became what it is today, it was created in a tournament combining 4 other championships. The IWCE World Championship, the GPCW Super X Monster Championship, the Mexican National Heavyweight Championship, and the UWA World Lightweight Championship. It was a tournament of 8 people, and from all the 8 people who have been in this tournament, they've held it later on in their careers. Eventually, Chessman being champion, Messias being champion, La Parga being champion, El Zorro, Mr. Tinieblas, pretty much the biggest Mexican wrestlers during that time have held the title. And of course, right now, Dico de Vikingo is current world champion. So it's funny to think that this is one of the youngest championships in wrestling, still, quote unquote, even though I think the youngest title is still being from 2007. It's not even 20 years old.
Just over 15.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people think that championship was created when AAA began, which it's something that a lot of people don't know.
What was the AAA?
And they still have too many championships.
Yeah, do you want to go all over them again, Ricky?
Okay, maybe after this I'll go over them one more time.
Later.
For time's sake.
Watch the video when we're done. You can get anything you want there. Just click that. You can watch it over and over and over again.
All right, James.
My number 6, Levi already talked about it earlier, the Dome Globe NWA World Title. The oldest belt that's still going right now. 1973 was when it was brought in. Only went until 86 and then was revived in 1990. Full title. That's the belt they think of.
All right.
Top 5.
All right. Top 5 time. My number 5. James already brought it up. The WCW United States Heavyweight title from 91 to 01. Enough said. Boss.
My number 5. I'm not sure if you guys are going to have this on your list. The NXT UK Championship.
Oh,
it's in my honorable mentions, actually.
Good call.
It's so beautiful. I want to cry. I mean, when NXT UK want to have a championship, and then feels like a dog's age. It feels like, because every time they try to bring in a new title, it doesn't really work. 24/7 title anyone. But besides that, I just love this title. Their other titles were okay. The women's title was basically this, but with a white strap in all actuality.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, just absolutely superb. Arguably their best title in forever, it feels like. So yeah, my number 5 NXT UK title.
The interesting thing about the UK title is that title was created before the brand was even a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because remember, the tournament was before that, and then
It was the WWE United Kingdom title before it was ever the NXT UK belt.
Yeah, that's yeah. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I meant to say WWE, but eventually
It was still
became
phenomenal
part
belt.
of NXT, and then NXT UK is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
Still waiting for NXT Europe.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. Yeah.
NXT Mexico. Oh wait, the cartel is gonna be there.
Scott?
All right. My number 5, we've alluded to it. You call it Big Gold. I call it the Flair belt. Because that's what it is. The Crumrine original championship. It just, you see that belt. I know you want to say, you say Big Gold, but when you see that, you think of Flair. End of story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got hoarded out and it's been rechanged to different types of designs. Ricky's got one on his shoulder. I got one on the wall back there. They're not exactly the same thing, but that one right there with that, the garnet colored strap to it. Just when you saw that on television, that's a fucking world champion right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Vince actually ever realized how much he was burying his own championship when Heenan showed up with that title on WWE television and was like, comparing this championship to Hulk Hogan's championship would be like comparing ice cream to horse manure. It's like, Vince, do you realize you're burying your fucking company's belt with this one here? Dude, because every wrestling fan would see Hogan's belt and see this belt and say, yeah, Flair's belt is better.
But to be fair, Heenan was a heel, so all heels speak bullshit.
Yeah, very good point. So you look at that championship, you think Flair, no matter how many people have held it, I know Hogan and Piper and Savage and DDP. Ronnie Garvin, yes, held that exact
And
title.
then later on, Great Khali.
David Arquette.
And the
Vince
story
Russo.
right there. But that particular Crumrine design right there, that one is Ric Flair's belt. It'll always be Ric Flair's belt. That's my number 5.
Sorry, James, I was choking on your bullshit when you said Russo.
He technically held it for a week.
I know.
He did.
Don't
Yep,
talk
he did.
about it.
It did.
You're making me cry now.
We don't bring that up anymore.
Flair, Dusty, Luger, Hogan,
Arquette.
Russo.
Arquette.
Same thing.
Khali.
Alberto Del Rio.
Anyways,
Moving on.
Ricky,
Jack Swagger.
My number 5. My number 5 is a championship that you might be a bit odd because I don't think anyone's gonna mention it, but I really love the design. The AWA World Heavyweight Championship held by Nick Bockwinkel and Stan Hazen.
Oh,
I love
the
that
one that Hansen ran over with his truck.
Truck. The one that was made by inmates in a prison, right?
Yeah, I love that design. To me, that screams AWA. To me, that screams Nick Bockwinkel.
Mm-hmm.
The one Hogan won. Oh, wait.
Yes. Wait. Rick Martel had it too.
Yeah.
Ricky Martel.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think, and maybe it's the other design. I think Perfect had it. Maybe it's the other design after that
No,
one.
he had the smaller championship.
Yeah.
The one
Okay.
with
Yeah.
that-
Yeah. Yeah. That
Same
was
with
the
Lawler.
Yeah.
You know
But
the
I
Lawler guy? Yeah.
that design was always so unique compared to all the world titles during that era. But I always loved the design. I think even Vern Gagne held it for once. I think
Probably did.
probably
Yeah, I think he
did.
did. I think that's the one he retired.
I
when he
think
was
that's the
retirement,
one he
didn't he?
retired. Yeah. But yep, the AWA World title.
James.
My number 5's already been mentioned. The Big Eagle from 98 to 02. I like both versions. I prefer the original Big Eagle, the Austin and Kane version, the block logo with the blue strap. That one, the fact that only lasted a few months because it got damaged so bad. It got so badly damaged they had to bring back the Winged Eagle for that presentation the night after Breakdown.
Yeah.
But the Big Eagle, it screams the Attitude Era. Austin, Rock, Undertaker, Mankind, Triple H.
Angle.
Holy
Jericho.
Jericho.
Well, Jericho held it with the Undisputed title.
I mean, he beat The Rock and Austin in the same night.
To win both the Big Gold and the Big Eagle.
Vince won it too.
Yeah, Vince McMahon. Greatest WWF champion ever.
It's crazy. Vince held the classic, the Big Eagle, and the ECW title.
I'm shocked he didn't put the WCW title on himself during the invasion.
He could have.
Just to say fuck you to every Southern wrestling fan.
And he would have been the only man in history to held all 3 championships.
Big Show did.
Big Show.
True.
That's strike 3,
Non-wrestler.
How's it feel, Red Shirt?
No, Ricky's on only strike 1.
Yeah, he's on strike 1.
God damn it, James. You made me feel happy for 2 seconds.
No happiness here.
Only pain.
But no happiness here.
You're so
The Big Eagle. Big Eagle's a classic belt. And the fact that it only lasted those few years.
Well, my number 4, it's the Big Eagle. Next, boss.
My number 4, James mentioned earlier, the AEW World Title. We can shit on the company, but I ain't shitting on that world title. That thing is being a mess. Yes.
Scott.
All right, my number 4, guaranteed no one else is going to have this on their list, because when you see this belt, you think probably Jerry Lawler. And this is the Unified World Championship that he made after he won the World Class title from Kerry Von Erich and had the AWA World title from Super Clash 3. I love that design. It just stands out. It's dynamic in the way it looks. And it's interesting to look at the 4 side plates because it says WCCW, AWA, CWA, and CWF. And that makes the Unified World Championship. When World Class went out of business and became the USWA, he couldn't wear that belt anymore because it had the World Class emblem on it. So that's why he was using the AWA Championship belt he never sent back to Vern Gagne and just put a unified little plate on it. It's the same one like Vince was wearing when he was doing his whole Mr. McMahon thing in Memphis. So, but that Unified World Championship, it got hoard out like crazy for the USWA. And like every other week, it was being bounced around. But that's the belt. Much like with Drumline belt, you think Ric Flair. The Texas title, you think of Von Erich. You know, the Smoking Skull, it's Austin. It always if you can identify a championship with a specific wrestler, that makes it even more iconic. And that Unified Championship, it's Jerry Lawler's belt. There's controversy as to where the actual unified title is. You have to ask Dutch Mantel if he's willing to talk about it, because supposedly it was stolen at an indie show, but it might just be sitting in his office, and he doesn't want to tell Lawler. I'm not saying anything. I'm not privy to any knowledge, but, you know, it's possible that Dutch Mantel might have an idea where that belt is. If I could find a replica of this one, oh my God, I would snag it up in a heartbeat because I always love this belt.
Will they find it in WWE's Hidden Treasures?
Probably not, because like I said, the actual belt is, it's at Dutch Mantel. I mean, it was stolen at an indie show, so you're not going to find the actual title. So,
true,
but,
true.
Is what it is. Is what it is. Who knows? They might find another version and say that's the legitimate version of it.
I was so close to putting it on my list too. You have
Really?
Yes, I was debating to put it on my number. It was going to be lowered on my list, but I was debating to put it on my list.
Ricky?
All right.
Mine 4, Boss has brought it up, and Levi, I know you have it. The classic IC Champion.
That's my number 4 too.
When you talk about workhorses in WWF, that championship always comes to mind. Bret, Perfect, Shawn, Goldust, Diesel, Razor, Macho Man, Steamboat, You name it. Every single person who has held that championship has gone to be a Hall of Fame career. Most of the time.
Marty Jannetty.
The Mountie.
Fucking Mount. Ray Rougeau, I mean, you could make a case he could be in the Hall of Fame, but...
I mean, Ahmed Johnson, eventually a Hall of Famer.
No.
Mark Marrow, Warrior Award winner.
Yeah. I mean, that championship is iconic in terms of, like, 80s WWE, WWF. Next to the Wing Eagle, that's iconic.
And, I mean, the greatest match in SummerSlam history, Bret Hart, British Bulldog, for that very belt.
Which main evented?
And, Warrior at WrestleMania 6 holding the Winged Eagle.
Yeah.
And the Reggie IC at the same... The only person to ever do that.
Going back to what you said, James, about the Warrior Award for Mark Merrill, yeah, he should have gotten that award when he was at Sable. Just saying. He was Warrior for that. No, just me.
Where's the wah on that one? There it is. Thank you very much.
God damn it.
But
Moving
yeah,
on.
I mean, what else could be said about this belt? My number 3. I mean, just look at it. 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 I want you all to look at it. Yeah, take it.
A lot of the great SummerSlam matches early on, a lot of the great WrestleMania matches early on for that very belt.
Yep.
It started arguably the greatest ladder match of all time in Shawn and Razor at Mania.
Yep.
Savage and Steamboat at WrestleMania 3.
There's your answer right there. Mm-hmm.
The Rock versus the Sultan at Mania 13.
Dean Douglas, Shawn Michaels, In Your House 4.
Oh, wait.
No, Dean Douglas versus Scott Hall.
Anyways, boss.
Moving on.
My number 3, James, you've talked about it, the 10,000 pounds of gold, the NWA World Title.
10,000 pounds, that's fucking heavy.
It's my number 3, too.
Wait, is it not? Wait.
It's 10 pounds.
You said 10,000. You didn't mean to say it. Okay.
10,000 pounds. Dude.
That's strike 4, pal.
I mean, talk about strength to wear that around your waist.
Uh-huh. It's a work, pal.
Anyway, yeah, it's a legendary title. I mean, Nick Aldis held it. I mean, fucking Tyrus is wearing it. The worst wrestler in the world, in my opinion. But that being said, just... Rob Conway was the NWA World Champion. I had to sing his theme last week, or 2 weeks ago. Just look at me.
Dude, but of course, the greatest NWA champion of all time, Jeff fucking Jarrett.
No.
Colorado Kid. Raven.
Yeah.
What a sad state of affairs.
Shane Douglas. And they can all kiss my ass.
Which was not the same championship belt. That was a different design.
Dan Severn was the NWA World Champion.
Ken Shamrock.
Gary Steele.
R-Truth.
R-Truth, yep.
Truth, okay, you gotta give Archie some slack. At least he tried.
Christian
Steve
held
Corino.
it. Adam Pearce.
Angle held it.
Cole Cabana.
Held it.
Adam Pearce.
Yep.
The Sheik,
Sabu.
not the original Sheik. The Sheik from Florida. Piece of garbage.
Wait.
Sabu. Candido.
Candido held it, yep.
Yeah, we can go on forever. So yeah, my number
Hashimoto.
10. The 10,
Tommy Rich.
Not 10,000. Dumbass. Anyways.
All right.
Scott.
Moving on. My number 3, the WWF World Tag Team Championship circa 86-87. Belt you saw the Bulldogs wear, the Hart Foundation, Strike Force. This is the original version. There's a version that came after this that has a little bit different side plates. These are like sterling silver looking belts here, whereas later on they would be gold. But yeah, that one, for some reason, it just stood out so much because you had the World Championship that was gold, and then you had this, which was sterling silver. It just made it stand out differently. And again, for that time frame, the 80s, it was like the workhorse for the tag team title. with the Bulldogs, Heart Foundation, Strike Force, all these great tag teams at that time that held that title, Demolition and so forth. So yeah, and I just loved like the side plates were just straight squares there. It was pretty dynamic. That center plate was so different. There's an eagle on it. It's just spread out over the top and just looks so different. It stands out. So when I see that one, instantly I think Bulldogs, Heart Foundation, that era.
Spread eagle.
Spread eagle. Nailed it.
Damn it.
Yeah.
You stole my thunder there. Anyway, Ricky.
My number 10 pounds of gold. I mean, hey, Flair, Dusty, both the Funks, Jack Briscoe, Magnum TA, you fucking name it. The legends have held that title. Some of the greatest matches I've seen. I mean, brace Flair for that title in a steel cage at Starrcade. Come on.
Magnum TA did not win the NWA World Championship.
Yes, it's a minor detail. We know.
Yeah.
Well,
He was
basically. Dusty and Flair.
Dick Hutton.
But
What'd you call him?
that championship, man, I would love to have a replica of that title.
Strike 5.
Yeah, I would definitely that one too.
No, that was a wrestler's name, Dick Hutton.
Yeah, Dick Hutton was a wrestler, but I don't think he held that particular NWA championship title. I think he won the Health
Fez hold that one.
Yeah,
no,
Lou
that
Thesz,
is
I think he did.
The one that has
George Hackenschmidt.
Yes.
Who has video of George Hackenschmidt versus Frank Gotch?
Frank Gotch. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Now fuck that. I want
Edge.
Jim Lundis and Hackenschmidt. I want that one.
I want the
Ed
first
Carpentier.
wrestling match ever between Abraham Lincoln and someone else.
Yep, for the U.S. title.
Somebody-
The U.S. title.
Abraham Lincoln versus John Wilkes Booth for the television championship. Wait, what?
Oh,
That was a shoot. Thank you. Thank you very
Father
much.
son strikes here.
damn. You really had to go there with the bang?
I'm sorry. Is it too late for that joke? I'm sorry.
And by the way, Dick Hutton did win the NWA World title, so take that.
Strike
back.
6.
Strike
Strike
69.
Anyways, James.
My
You're some
number
dicks,
3.
all of you.
My number 3's already been mentioned. The IWGP version 4 heavyweight title from 08 to 2021.
Yep.
All right, and now for the top 2. My number 2, the Winged Eagle. Obviously, I mean, arguably the most iconic title in WWF/E history. I mean, do I really need to say anything else? No, I don't. Moving on, boss.
My number 1 and 2 can literally be flipped, and I wouldn't be wrong in my opinion. But my number 2 is probably going to be you guys' number 1, the big gold belt.
Big Gold's my number 2.
Oh, gotcha. Well, Flair, Dusty, Ronnie
Sting.
Garvin, Great Khali, all those legends. Yeah,
See.
Khali's a Hall of Famer, by the way, folks.
Yeah, I mean, all the greats.
Jack Swagger, he's a Hall of
Jinder
Famer.
Mahal. Oh wait, no, sorry.
But preferably with the Big Gold, it's the Crumrine Big Gold. The
one I showed you.
NWA
Yeah,
WCW.
Like
That
the
one.
Ricky's holding now, that one's good too. I actually really like that one, but you
Triple
cannot
H.
beat that original.
I mean, say what we will about the Reign of Terror, but when you think of the Big Gold, for most people, they think of Triple H.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Invisible Man. That
Randy Orton.
Orton,
Batista,
Cena,
Mark
Edge,
Henry.
Sheamus,
Jericho,
Big Show.
Undertaker.
Yeah, Taker.
Edge.
Alberto Del Rio for
Funk.
Christ's sake. Hell, Santino Marella nearly won it in 2012 in the Elimination Chamber, for Christ's sake.
yeah.
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 That
Yeah.
was the darkest day in wrestling history. But yeah, big old belt, my number 2.
But you know the pop that would have gotten?
It would have been a
I
huge
know,
pop.
If
Both
Santino would have
Kingston-
won the world title. Let's be real. The world title by that point meant jack shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
And Jack
Santino
Swagger.
would have won it, it wouldn't have fucking mattered.
That's
No,
fair.
it wouldn't matter.
Swagger and a bunch of other people had won it by that point.
Kane won it, but it was like
7 years too
late.
late.
Way too
How could
late.
we forget Mark Henry in the
That was a
Hall of
legit great
Fame?
run.
That
for
was
short
good.
That was a
time.
good reign.
That was a good.
He
reign.
should have had it. He should have held it till
Is what
WrestleMania.
Andre's-
I'll say it.
Injuries cut that one short. He should have held that shit to Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
Ray
year?
held it a couple times.
Then they renamed it the World Title for Ray.
Yeah, not the World Heavyweight Championship because he's not really a heavyweight.
But anyway, Scott.
My number 2 has already been mentioned by you guys because it's the workhorse title, the Intercontinental Championship that Levi has there. What more need to be said?
Ricky.
My number 2 is the Wing Eagle Championship. What more can I say?
And then we already know James Big Gold. So my number 1 is the Big Gold. How could it not?
Say it
I
with
mean-
me. My number 1, the Big
Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah. All right. So then, boss, what could possibly be your?
I'm not done. I didn't go yet.
Oh,
My number 1, I already did Big Gold if you were paying attention. Thank you. Because my number 1 is this.
Yep.
Honorable
and
mention.
the A Television Championship. Yeah.
This one stands out more than anything else because not necessarily just the television championship. This was the design for the World Heavyweight title for Hogan in '85 after the big belt he won from the Iron Sheik. And this design is the first championship I remember seeing because it's also the same type of design that Hogan has in Rocky III as Thunder Lips. It's the same kind of hexagon, like
It's an
octagonal
iconic
type
design.
So, I mean, so many different promotions have had championships with this design to them. And the NWA television title, the NWA National Championship, same design, only black and gold. Yeah, I mean, this one right here, you see this, Nikita Koloff, Mike Rotunda, Arn Anderson, another workhorse championship that
Ollie.
was that of the Intercontinental Championship too. And that's why this is my number 1 and the IC title is my number 2. So yeah, as much as the Big Gold is good, that's flair. This one stands out for a lot more people too. So that's what
It
this
was
one.
the IC title of that time.
Yep. So yeah.
Steve Austin,
Exactly.
I believe, was the final
Steve
holder
Austin, he
of
was.
that particular version.
You are correct.
And didn't
Yep.
they bring it back?
Yeah, they brought
Years
back the
later?
TV title
Yep.
in the
Yeah, but I
NWA
think
right
it was
now.
A different design, I think.
It's
It's
no,
got
it's
a
the
whole
same.
different design. Is it?
It's
Oh,
sort
yes,
of-
it is.
it's
It
the
is
same design.
Yep. Because this has the black strap and it's got the red on the back. But like the
But it
more
has the
modern
red
straps have the
and-
red across the border. So yeah, this one right here, this is the top for me.
Oh yeah, that's right. I thought they changed it for a second.
So, boss, you're number 1.
I consider it the greatest championship of all time. No, I was about to say Divas title, but no, it's the Winged Eagle. Can I say anything else that hasn't been said? It's beautiful. I want to marry it. I want to have kids with it. God damn it. Moving on. Talking about my title fantasies later.
James,
That is
you're
strike
number 1?
9.
Boss, do you have a belt kink?
Well, I mean, he does have that leather belt.
Oh
That he
no!
strangles himself
No.
with.
No.
Asphyxiation fetish, anybody? This is why the show is ending. I hope you know that.
But then again, he's the ginger. He's closer to Kenny, and Kenny loves that.
Who?
Wow. Oh, that's
Anyway.
all right, go ahead, Ricky. You're already said
And me,
Yeah.
mine.
number one? Okay.
Same, yeah.
My number 1's the Winged Eagle. Is
Okay.
the one belt that when I first started watching wrestling, this was the first belt that really just like, whoa, that's cool. And every time whoever held it, it's like, that guy's the guy. And going back, it's like, every person who ever held the Winged Eagle is in the Hall of Fame except for one person. Can anybody take a guess?
Except for one person.
Except for
One
one
person.
Rock.
Mm.
Rock?
Indeed.
No.
No,
Rock didn't
Rock
hold it.
never held it.
Austin,
Sid.
Johnson, Takers.
Yep.
Sid.
Oh,
Sid-
yeah, that's right.
Sid
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
only holder,
yeah,
and Sid's going to get in at some point.
Yeah.
He's got
Which
it.
would
should.
mean
Yeah, he's got
every person who ever held the Winged Eagle is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Even
It's an
Inoki.
Christ's sake,
Even
Rick Bowley's in
Inoki.
there.
Inoki never held the winged eagle.
Yeah, but
Technically.
Who?
Well, not technically. He never did.
I know.
He held the original eagle belt, the Backlund Superstar Graham belt.
Yeah.
Way
I
back
always
in
get
the day,
confused
yeah.
with those two.
Mhm.
But the winged
Andre?
eagle, Andre did hold it for 40 seconds.
Yep.
I am
But-
And
I am
DiBiase's
the
in
tag team
too. He was
champions.
he did go on
And
several
did
house shows
defend
with the
it.
belt,
Yeah.
so it counts.
But I mean, it's the one belt that I always wanted to buy, and I finally bought it as a late birthday gift, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna take it to SummerSlam.
Sleeps with it every night.
All right, so that's
There you
our
have it.
list. Now for honorable mentions,
Honorable
I had
mentions.
5.
Yeah.
I had the WWF tag titles from 86 until 2002, all the different versions. The NWA World Television Championship that Scott had, the UK Championship, AEW World Championship, and the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles that UWF belt was an inspiration to. So
Mhm.
those were mine.
There you
Uh, James.
I didn't really have any honorable mentions, but some of the others that I will bring up, the NWA US title that Scott had on his list, the original Eagle belt, the WWF, the Backlund Superstar Graham, that belt, really freaking like that, and I know one of the belt designer, you could buy a replica of that online. I forget what the creator is, but it's one that designs the old tag belts as well as the Andre belt. But you can buy the WWF Championship. The tag belts from 86 to 02, all the different variations because they all look the same. Can't really think of any others.
Boss.
Scott put on his list USWA Unified title. Again, I was so wanting to put that on my list, but I couldn't. Another one I feel like doesn't get talked about much: the Eco-Friendly Championship.
Oh, the hemp belt.
Yep,
The
one that
heavyweight
Brian
title.
introduced.
The Heavyweight Championship.
Yep. I don't care what anyone says. I love it. I
It
love
fit
that.
Brian's character at the time.
It saved a cow from being killed.
Exactly.
Pickle.
Cattle mutilation.
Appreciate
Pickle.
you, damn it.
Mhm.
You guys are
Pickle.
nerds. They probably hate the cow decapitation, but besides that, my other one was the NXT title from 2017 to 2022. The original one was okay. It's just the
Too
big
blocky.
X in the middle was very
Too blocky.
distracting.
And the strap
Yeah.
was way too big.
Way too thick. Yeah. Too.
It was too girthy.
There you go.
Speaking of
Burrito.
freaking thick, Paige's favorite belt is the NXT Women's Championship.
Mm.
Just ask Brad Max or Xavier.
You know why she loves it? Because it's got spunk.
Ooh.
Just
Yeah.
ask Maddox.
That means two things.
That was also sexual. But yeah, the NXT title when Bobby Roode won it and he got the new version of it, I really liked that one. That one was really good. The new one's fine.
It's the
I
same
guess.
belt, it's just multicolored.
Yeah, but I love the one that Drew won, or Bobby won, then Drew won it, Ciampa, Aleister Black, Andrade, Gargano, Steiner, so many others. The other one is the WWE US title from 03 to 2020. The new one is okay.
Meh.
It's too modified. It's just too poppy. It's just too poppy for my liking, but I really love it, the old one, because it feels like it's old school. It feels like
America! Fuck yeah!
Mm-hmm. Eddie, Benoit, just all those ones. Cena then became the spinner belt, which was cool. Then it got destroyed by JBL. Then JBL won it. Chavo, Ray.
Orlando Jordan.
We don't talk about that.
Carlito Caribbean Cool.
His first match in the
Cena won
company.
it back because Cena got stabbed in a nightclub.
by Jesus, which is Spanish
by
for
the
New
way,
Jack.
Yeah, that was a.
Jesus, he stabbed my ass.
But anyways, moving on, and then my last honorable mention was the Big Eagle. I always thought it was called the Big Cookie Belt. That's always.
It's always the Big Eagle.
Where the hell do you hear Big Cookie?
It looked like a cookie. I was probably
Your
thinking
mom's
of
a
food at that
cookie.
Now I want cookies.
Well,
Cookie.
you know what? My mom's not here right now, Levi.
She might
You know
be.
where she is?
Yeah, she's camping right now.
That means two things.
Oh, we got a Walter
what's
run
this?
in.
Run in. We got to run
We
in.
got a run in from Walter for the finale.
Who's here,
yes,
ladies and gentlemen?
Yes,
Just in time to end the show.
yes.
Good night, everybody. Last minute run in. We were just going to do your top 10 favorite belt designs, dude. We knew number one was the Divas title.
Yes.
Yes. See, confirmed. That was it.
I was gonna say, wait, what? Is someone streaming? Because I thought it was Scott. I'm like, wait, hold on, whoa, hold
wait
on.
a second here.
Now you got bookend old guys here.
Where are you guys at with your
We
top
just
10?
finished.
We just
We're all
finished.
done.
We just
We're all
finished.
done.
Oh, okay. I don't have a top 10, unfortunately.
Do you
Yeah,
have
time
any
is-
off the top of your
I-
head?
Do you have a favorite?
Throw out some favorites. You know.
Yeah, I do have some I
Other
can throw off
favorite.
the top of my head. I mean, the Winged Eagle belt is a favorite of mine. Actually, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Scott brought it up, but the World Class Heavyweight Championship.
Texas title. I brought
Texas
the Texas
title. Yes, thank you.
Mhm. But the
Because
world
actually,
title
what
too. Yep.
inspired me today was my buddy came over today, and he has the Power Town figures, and he has the brand new Kerry Von Erich figure, and it comes with the Texas title, and it's fucking beautiful. I forgot how good looking of a title that was. The IWGP Championship, the one they gave AJ, if you remember that one.
08 to 2021.
Version 4.
Yep. The Macho Man Winged Eagle, the smaller one, that was a nice, good.
The
looking
Velcro
compact belt.
strap.
What was that?
Velcro
Velcro
strap.
Velcro strap. Yo, I like that one. That one went right before, I think, when Steve won it. Am I wrong?
It was Savage's Winged Eagle. The Velcro strap was SummerSlam 88 to WrestleMania 5.
Oh, okay. So that was a while. Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah, when Hogan won it, they had to get the fucking Fat Boy belt back. That's right.
Mhm.
And then Perfect destroyed it, and they got a new belt.
Yes, that's right. Okay, but I liked Savage's belt though. That was a nice belt. Big gold belt naturally. I think the 10 pounds of gold, the NWA title, is a really nice one.
It's 10,000 pounds.
Yeah, he said 10,000 pounds of gold earlier.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, it's a work, so you could say it's 50 million pounds.
Yes.
It's a work
2
pound.
million pounds.
I don't
God
care.
damn.
I got so many strikes. I don't even know how I'm still on this platform.
The NWA World Television Championship. Scott, did you bring that up?
Yep, that was the number one.
My number
There
one.
it is. Yep.
Gotta have it.
The Florida Heavyweight Championship, so good looking
Yes.
that they actually used it as a sit-in for the Heavyweight Championship when Ric Flair ran off with the big gold belt.
That's
They
true.
put a
yep.
bunch of WCW plates
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, that was a good looking belt though,
It was. It was.
courtesy of Mike Graham. The ECW World Heavyweight Championship, it did have a WWF vibe to it. It did have its own distinct personality.
Mhm.
The white Intercontinental title I've always liked.
The
Oh,
white
that
strap
Cody
that
had.
Cody.
The white strap, I've always liked that one. Yep.
Mhm.
Trying to think if there's any others. I don't like. Oh, okay, you know what? This is a long shot, but I mean, this is kind of out of nowhere. I don't know if any of you guys had it listed, but it's going on mine. I like the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
I had that on mine.
Yep.
We all had it. Yeah.
Mhm.
It is a nice looking belt, and I do like the original women's championship because it was reminiscent of the Florida title.
Isn't that
It
the
was a
one
nice
where
throwback.
Moolah had the picture? Like where Moolah had the picture, or was that her customized title? Where
That was the NWA.
Title.
Oh,
Um,
okay, never mind.
How about this for non-wrestling titles? How about the World Heavyweight Championship in the Rocky movies? That was a beautiful, beautiful belt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Those were good.
Yep.
Remember the okay, we're going out outside of wrestling. Remember when Tyson unified the 3 championships?
Yes.
Yep. WBC, I was never a big fan of that one because it was such a thin strap.
Yes.
But I like the WBA and I like the IBF one.
IBF was black, right?
No, I think IBF was red and WBA was black. I think that's
Okay, WBC was green. That I know.
Yeah, WBC was definitely the green one. Big cylinder, cylindrical center there, but the strap on the side was like so weird. Just And then they did make him a unified title, which you didn't see very often. Mike Tyson, that is. Back to wrestling, though.
But now, what about some of the worst designs? Can we all agree the worst belt design of all time?
24/7.
Can we all agree the worst of them all is the fucking Divas title, please?
The butterfly title.
That
Yeah.
fucking god.
Yeah.
Actually, almost like the entire recent line of WWE titles have been terrible.
Thank you.
Don't ask me why, but I hated the tag team championship with the
Me too.
Centurions. Yeah.
I hate
like
those
them.
belts
Yep.
too. They look
never
like
liked them.
Spartan pennies or nickels.
Pennies and nickels.
They
I
just they just don't feel inspired. It just
No.
feels. Oh,
I
I
was-
got
I-
another one. The Shrek Championship. The greatest Royal Rumble Championship.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the green
Oh,
one.
God.
Yeah, that was bad.
Shrek Championship.
Yeah.
And only
That was-
one
I
guy
was
to ever
never-
have it, Braun Strowman.
Braun
Yep.
Strowman, the only guy.
That's
I
his
was
belt.
never a fan of the Attitude Era Intercontinental Championship.
No, I hated that.
I never liked that.
Yeah.
No, I
Uh,
liked
The Rock had and Venus and Triple H.
It was
looked bland.
coming off of
Isn't
a
that the
great
oval
design. The oval,
Mhm.
yeah, the oval title. They
Yeah, like the
debuted-
oval, just like
all
so
the-
linear.
all the belts debuted
like
the
it.
night after WrestleMania 14.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The WCW Hardcore Championship.
Yeah. The
Oh,
one that looked like the EC. It's like, hey, why don't you copy off the ECW title?
Yep. Never liked that one.
The Jeff Hardy
Um,
Immortal belt. Ugh.
yeah, the Jeff Hardy Immortal. Yeah.
Jeff is going to pay for his crimes for that.
The 25th Anniversary Championship, some of them suck.
All
I'm
the
sorry, but the
replicas.
FTW,
Yeah.
the FTW belt is ugly too.
Yeah.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. Both of
Not an
them were.
attractive belt.
Both of
Okay,
them were.
I'm about to say something that might turn a lot of heads. I'm not a big fan of the Brahma Bull Championship.
Main event.
Oh.
It's unofficial.
Actually, I'm not a
so.
fan of any of those gimmicky championships except for the $1 million title.
I had that on my list.
Oh, how about the King of the Ring Championship? Do y'all remember that one?
The one that they made for Mabel,
Yep.
but it never
Yeah.
made TV.
Never made TV. Yeah.
How about the WWF Heavyweight Championship for the Hogan era, the green belt?
Yeah.
Oh, the
that-
Backlund
Big,
belt.
ugly, bulky.
Yeah.
What did it? Yeah,
Oh,
did
I actually just
did
remembered.
That was
Sheik have that?
Backlund and Sheik and Hogan, and those were
Backlund,
the only
Sheik, Hogan,
three
all
welded.
three.
I just
Mhm.
remembered probably the worst world title design in WWF history. I don't remember how long it was used, but one belt Bruno had in his first run where it was like
The original one.
yeah,
It was
that
a
is-
U.S. title
Ugh.
Yep.
that they made the
Yeah.
world title.
Right.
Ugh, that was so bad.
What about Lay Cool's split title?
Oh.
Scott brought it up. The TV title with one plate.
Yeah, in ECW.
Yeah.
Yep.
The ECW championship was just a center plate with nothing on the sides. And the original
Oh.
ECW World Championship too, the Eastern Championship Wrestling belt that they converted to the ECW World title that Raven and Sandman held, that was a piece of schlock, quote unquote Raven.
The original X Division title I never liked.
Yeah, it looked like red tape was over it.
Again, I brought it up. I actually had the 07 to 2013 design on my list because the X was
Yeah.
more streamlined, where the original belt with the big red X, it's like, hey, you could have streamlined it. No, you're going to take the whole X up your fucking ass, you motherfucker.
I think the power porn was a thing.
What you got, Walt?
We've seen some shit. We've seen our share of ugly belts on the indies, though.
Oh my God.
Pretty much mostly all indie belts For the most part.
The company you and I worked for had a pretty ugly world title.
Because didn't they all just
Companies
use
we work
replica
for.
belts and
They
cover
just
it
use
with
replica
crap?
belts and put
Yeah.
yeah.
The belts covered up with tape and marker.
Tape.
Permanent markers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's all you did.
The one that's recently came to mind is the TNT title design they had for Scorpio, where it was like purple.
A Laker design.
Yeah, that was stupid. I did not like any
Oh.
design really. Like they had it, I think.
The incomplete version that Cody won in the tournament.
Yeah, wasn't that a white design or something like that?
No, that was red with all silver plates.
Yeah,
And it was
that
an incomplete
ugly.
belt.
Help me
Oh,
out here. New Japan title that Kurt Angle won.
The version 3.
Version
Yeah,
3,
that
was
was-
that it?
Yes.
That
was
one was
the
horrible.
the IJF. That was the Inoki Federation.
The
Well,
Inoki era
You
one.
know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the very first IWGP belt. Very bland and boring looking.
The one,
One of those
the
rounded out.
yeah, it was that one. What the big plate, big giant plate that Inoki had. Hogan had a version of
Yeah,
it.
actually, I like that one actually myself.
The ECW title, the last world title.
Right.
Yeah, where it was
The
still-
silver.
The
list.
silver belt.
That was on
yeah.
silver.
Oh, with the eagle.
Mm-hmm.
The
Uh,
3D.
I don't like
New
the-
Japan, I'm not a big fan of their TV title. It literally looks like a lunchbox.
I don't
Oh,
like.
okay.
Speaking
the-
of TV titles, actually, wait. Speaking of TV titles, another terrible one: the ROH television title from 2012.
Now that's funny to mention that because that one is a ripoff of the WCW 6-man tag team championships
You're right.
Oh.
that like the Freebirds had, and I was just going to mention this because that one was garbage. But the ones prior to that the Russians held and the LOD and Dusty Rhodes held, those belts were actually pretty cool. I thought that design was pretty good.
I don't like the Owen Hart. I don't like the Owen Hart belts.
Yeah,
Owen Hart
they're-
belts, really?
They're stupid.
I don't like the new Ring of Honor championship. I think it's bland. Just bland.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
all are.
They all are.
Yeah.
Although I will say Jay Briscoe's custom Ring of Honor World title,
Yeah.
I did like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where,
Um,
where it was all camouflage. Yeah, that one was
Mhm.
cool.
Really
I
didn't
brought
like.
I brought it up earlier. I'm not a huge fan of the new IWGP World Title. It literally looks like a Power Rangers accessory.
The new belt, yeah, I don't really care for the new belt at all. I like the one prior to that, before they unified
Yeah.
the stupid things. Yeah,
Yeah.
That belt I liked.
Yeah, that one I'm not a huge fan of. Think
The-
of some
the-
women's belts.
What's
too.
that
There's
fucking
not a
belt
lot.
Will Ospreay's always got on him? That's not any New Japan title.
Oh, the
Rev Pro.
Rev Pro, thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
here's a world title we didn't mention that was garbage, but it didn't last long. It was the custom Hogan belt with this picture in the middle of it.
Yep. Mhm.
Oh yeah.
They sell that. You can buy that as a replica for fuck's sake. Why?
But now
wants
women's
that?
titles, I mean, we already mentioned the
Women's
Divas
titles?
belt.
Yeah.
The Knockouts tag titles and TNA, those were ugly. They were just very bright.
The-
pink.
The WCW Women's Cruiserweight Championship.
Oh my god. That
Oh,
was
God.
terrible.
There
That
was
one
Yeah.
didn't even last long.
There was
It
a
was.
NWA
I think they had like the first round of matches on Nitro, and they finished the rest of it in Japan. And
Yeah.
something like that, yeah. There was
Now,
an
the
NWA
Knockouts
Women's
Championship-
US champion. There was that, but I don't remember like Misty Blue Sims had it. I think.
what was that?
thing.
The Knockouts
The end-
title, when it was initial, I actually did like that. I thought that was a pretty solid design, but those Knockouts tag titles, like originally, disgusting.
I got to meet Misty. I met Misty Blue Sims. She wrestled in Cobleskill back in '97.
No shit, really. Was this before or after she did the porn?
I didn't know she did porn. That's
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
shit.
Google
Wow,
search.
okay. I gotta let Brother Chip know about that.
Yes, let brother Chip know. Chip would want to know. Chip probably has them.
The AAA mixed tag team titles, I hated those so much because pretty much the women's was all pink and the men's was all blue.
Yeah.
Oh god, I
What
hated
about-
When they featured him on AEW, I'm just like,
What
I
about
just don't care
the
for
big?
him.
What about the big championship in Lucha Underground?
Okay,
with
that one.
5 plate gimmick thing.
The gift
you
of the
had
gift
unified
of the
gimmick.
gods.
That
Gift
one-
of the gods.
Gift of the gods.
That
title.
one looked cool. I really
Yeah.
like that.
I like
That
the
one
Lucha
cool.
Underground belt.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
I did like it. I was like, what would everyone else think of that one? Because it's obscure.
But
You
it
don't
was
see someone.
it was basically the Money in the Bank championship. That was literally
It was Money in the Bank done right.
Yeah.
But in terms of women's championships, I like, of course, the one that always comes to mind is the Reina de Reinas championship in AAA. I love that design. Here's
I'm
another
trying
one.
to think of another.
Didn't like the classic WWF Women's Championship like '85 Wendy Richter, Leilani Kai. Didn't like that. It was so bland.
No,
I
And
I
the
didn't
one
like
Medusa dumped.
Yeah.
Anyone mention the women's tag team titles in WWF? Not the current one. The ones from the '80s with the
Oh, the one in the
Jumping Bomb
'80s.
Angels.
Yeah.
I don't,
Kinda
remember,
bland
I don't
again.
remember them.
I remember.
They
I
were
do remember.
shaky.
Very,
They were
very bland.
shaky.
Very bland. Nothing special about those.
They're basically they're from what I understand, they weren't exact. I thought for the longest time they were just they did a Pat Patterson type thing where they just threw the belt on him and made up a fictional tournament. No, those belts were actually defended overseas in Europe, and they were there for the longest time.
Yep, I do know that. And then Moolah fucked them over in Mania 5.
I
Not
did
the only
like
one she fucked over.
the Intercontinental title before the Workhorse Championship belt we were talking about that Levi has. The green strap one, Greg Valentine, Tito Santana.
yeah.
Trophy belt.
Did like the trophy belt. Yep, I did like that one. Very simplistic.
Oh, I got another one. I know people like this one, but I'm not a huge fan of it. The FTW title, I'm not a big fan of it.
I'm not.
No.
Yeah,
I
I'm not a fan of that
mentioned
one.
that.
No.
Yeah, I didn't like.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
I
right.
brought it up as one. Of my
But
it's an ugly belt.
yeah.
I got. Well, wait, no, go ahead, Levi. You were going to research something.
I was gonna say, I think why don't we go ahead and let's reminisce some of the great moments on this show since it's the
Two
finale.
words. 2 words. Russian sickle. Still one of my favorite
Two
moments.
It's
words.
Mercy too.
2 words.
Does anyone have a
Jackass.
montage of all the times? Anyone have a montage video of all the times Levi would get up and just fall on the bed or whatever?
Yeah, we should have.
Back
Yeah.
when
Probably.
I had the computer upstairs.
You were living upstairs. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had to make a music video montage set to the Jay Giles band Freeze Frame.
Freeze.
Yeah. Remember that time Levi said that Ricky was a stowaway?
Stowaway.
A
Yep.
child stowaway.
And then also Ricky threw out the Bros Before Hose line when my wife was on.
or that time James tries to tell Scott wrestling's at work.
Work. Mm.
Yeah, you were here
Alive,
for
kid.
that, Walter. That
all
was
the pranks
classic.
that Boss got
Which
for
was
leaving the Royal Rumble off his gimmick match list.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
Wait, that was a gimmick? I thought it was just participation award.
The Heroes of Wrestling. Oh,
Heroes of
All the
Wrestling.
heroes of wrestling.
End story, man, right there. That's one of the best ones. Various nights where we've just gone off on ridiculous tangents, not even wrestling related, and especially when we get into the voices and we start trying to come up with stupid shit.
The You Shoot parody we did.
The You Shoot parody, yes.
oh my
yes.
god, that's still
Oh,
classic. That time
Now, I do got to ask, what would Terry Funk's grade of the Shadow Cult podcast be? What is his overall thoughts on the
I
show?
give this goddamn show a JA for a big old jackass.
And of course, this show spawned the Terry Funk voice.
Oh, somebody's echoing.
Echo.
Walter.
Echo.
Pinch hitting for Pedro Morbone, Manny Mota. Yeah, somebody's echoing.
It's Walter. It's on Walter's end.
Maybe Waltz.
What's going on? What am I doing?
I think you might have an echo.
Echo, echo.
Echo!
Oh, the time I lost my shit, ranted
That
about
30-minute
AEW.
AEW rant you went on.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
The time I mentioned every single CMLL championship.
But wait, we
That
can't
time-
forget.
Now, that time that we said Eddie Guerrero is a worse champion than Jinder Mahal?
Mhm.
What?
It's coming.
That's up there. That's up there with you saying that the Satanist was like 79%.
Mhm.
Jinder Mahal drew more than Eddie Guerrero.
He's
Jinder.
You're telling me that Eddie Guerrero, one of the greatest champions of all time, drew less than Jinder fucking Mahal?
Scott, put that on the t-shirt.
Uh-huh.
Jinder
I want to
fucking
make a t-shirt
Mahal.
out of a Jinder effing Mahal.
All the times I pissed everyone off, well, that's a daily thing.
Another reason why the show's ending.
Yeah.
Blame it on the
I'm
news.
tired. I'm tired. I'm old, and they're playing
I work with fucking
children.
Oh yes,
Well,
the
you
time
definitely are.
AEW canceled me. The time I got canceled by AEW for shitting on CM Punk's return, and I had to tell you guys the story about it.
Yep.
Yeah, there was that.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I remember that episode when y'all were talking about the best on-screen couples, and y'all were talking about Helen and Stu Hart. Yeah, how does Helen's pussy smell?
Ranch.
And Levi took his headset off.
The
Sweets
story
are us.
that
Sweets are us.
Yep.
are us.
Sweets are us.
Yeah.
All the ideas that WWE has stolen from us.
Yes.
Where's our royalty checks, you fuckers?
Mm-hmm.
Check
We need them royalties.
Or
That time I
got
got Brock Lesnar versus Omos at WrestleMania made.
And you predicted it. Yep, you made it happen, man.
Cards Against Humanity.
Oh jeez.
Yes. The
I
time
am
I went
killing
to
it.
shit during Uno.
I am killing it right now in Journey of Wrestling. By the way, my promotion is like ridiculously good.
Who's your top draw?
I have like 15 main eventers.
Brickhouse Brown?
Bradshaw, Cactus Jack, Razor Ramon, Steve Austin, Steve Williams, Terry Gordy, Chris Jericho, Edge, Steve Regal, Lord Steven Regal, Warlord, Barbarian, and a couple more. They're all main eventers.
Jinder fucking Mahal.
Warlord and Barbarian.
Yes.
That's a main
Oh, and I
event
just
anywhere in
signed
the
Vader.
country.
I just signed Vader too.
Now, favorite episodes.
All of them.
Let's see.
The Heroes
I
of
can't-
Wrestling episodes.
I can't pinpoint. a
Heroes of
particular
Wrestling
episode.
Heroes
episodes.
of Wrestling.
I like
When Vince retired,
I really
Vince
love that.
retiring.
And we were on vacation.
That one
I was
was
on
great.
vacation. We couldn't talk about it.
I like the 100th episode where y'all were doing You Shoot in different
The
voices.
You Shoot
I was
parody,
I was
yeah.
crying with that one.
Me and Levi rebooking the Invasion.
Invasion. Yep.
I did like that. Did like that one.
I
Eddie Guerrero's perspective.
personally still love the Roman rebooking that I did earlier this year.
Don't forget the Foo.
The
The Foo!
The Foo.
Don't forget the Foo. Yeah. My nod to Jim Bob. And the
Joe
Last
Bob.
Drive. Joe Bob. Yeah,
I
The
missed-
Last Drive.
Oh,
I missed the
I
Foo.
also really loved the Mania 17 review we did where we had Chronix, my boy Chronix from Most Extreme Wrestling
Yeah.
on, and oh god, and that was when even Walter was going crazy with voices that night, trying to do his
Heavy
Terry
metal!
Funk.
Of course, when Worlds Collide, I love that episode so
Yes.
much.
That was good.
That was good.
That was a fun one.
That was hopefully in the future, down the road, we can review Triple Mania 1 as a special attraction. Hopefully.
And if anybody out there is like a total freaking masochist and wants to watch like all Shadow Cult episodes from the beginning to the end, watch how our demeanors change the episode after Vince retires.
Oh God.
Because prior to
God,
that,
yeah.
it's like doomsday is coming for us. Everything is bad. Everything is boring. Everything is lame. Once Triple H takes over, all of us got like a lot happier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Vince, Vince is back now.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
you
yeah,
know that
Vince is in
Triple H
charge
isn't
again.
in charge?
Yeah.
Kevin Dunn got rehired. He got
Swear to
fixed.
God. I swear to God, when next week something big happens, they fucking know that. We're gonna be like, next week, oh, we're back just for a break because the fucking something big's gonna happen.
Just for 5
Shadow
minutes.
Cult ends and Vince passes.
Oh
Yep.
god, I don't even want to think
Mhm.
about that.
I mean, it's gonna happen. We're gonna be like, hey guys, Vince dies. We're gonna remember Vince.
Actually, I do have a sad memory. I announced the passing of Brody Lee while we were doing the show.
Yeah.
I was watching it live. I remember that.
Mhm.
Yeah. At
Yeah,
the very
I
end of
remember that.
2020. Yeah.
I don't think I was on for that one.
Nope, I don't think
I
you
I think
were.
it was just Scott.
It
Just
was
like
James,
it was
and
just me, Levi, and James. I think, yeah,
And then
Yeah,
just
I
all of a
remember
sudden, like, what
mood
the
shifted,
fuck?
yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I
we were
mean,
going
that-
from
that
trying to
happened
talk
to a lot
about
of
the
other
whole
people.
Nash Goldberg thing, and then yeah.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, that was definitely a sad one.
here.
We have immortalized several wrestlers who passed away and paid respects to them. In that time,
Mantar just
Mantar recently passed away. Yeah, there is
Yep.
that.
I
Just-
said it to these guys right before we went live. I feel like a wrestler stop happening every single week. We lost Strauss last week. We lost Eddie Graham. We lost Sheik. We've been losing so many people of the past. It's getting insane.
Mhm.
I thought people Mantar. Like what? Like it's like TL. Like next week's gonna be TL Hopper for Christ's sake.
See, with the when Vince announced his retirement, I'm still saying, nah, man, it's a fucking rips. It's joking. It's all from his actual Twitter. I was like, oh shit, he's actually retiring.
Mhm. Well, in
Here we go.
retrospect, it wasn't work to begin with. It was just a PR stunt. So.
Yeah, but still, we're like, what?
Mhm. What else is there?
I was there.
I have an update.
That whole thing.
Ruby Soho is becoming the Buffalo Bills of the Owen Hart Women's Cup. She has lost in the final match again,
God.
back-to-back years. She lost to Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale is the Owen Hart Cup champion.
Well,
for-
no,
Wow.
she's not the Buffalo Bills yet. She hasn't lost 4.
She's almost there. She's got just a couple. She's on
She's
her-
halfway there.
She is
I
the Buffalo
think-
Bills because anytime she goes after a belt, she loses.
It's true.
I
There you go,
think
yeah.
correct me if
So
I'm
instead
wrong,
of instead of boy, I love losing Super Bowls, boy, I love losing straps.
Yep.
Sure.
correct
There you go.
correct me if
Germans.
I'm wrong, but I think this show started. I think either after AEW started or right around the same
After.
time AEW.
After.
It was during the
It
pandemic.
started in the midst of the
May
pandemic,
2020 was when
Yeah.
Walter Scott and I came together, and that's where it all began.
You
In
know,
the
Walter,
first
speaking-
month and a half, it was pre-recording, and then once I got this rigged, then we went
Yeah.
live.
We could do it live, yeah.
You know,
Do it
Walter,
live, pal. Do it
Walter,
live.
Speaking of you just saying that Ruby's been the Buffalo Bills of the women's division, so I was watching this Raw review when Raw was in Buffalo this past Monday. Cody comes down, and the guy that was doing the review, he's like, you know, Cody and the Buffalo Bills are just like the same. They lost the championship at the big stage. I'm like, God, that's so wrong, but that's funny. At least the Bills are redeeming themselves. I want them to win a championship one day.
To work.
But now,
Yes,
what
all
about
sports are works. Talked about all the events we all went to, and I was
Yep.
there.
And I was there. That's another high spot of the
I
show.
was there.
now? What would you say for each individual, the funniest moment from each of us? I think Ricky's is obvious. Jinder fucking Mahal.
Oh yeah, I lost my shit. I still lose my shit every time I rewatch that moment. I was like, what the fuck? I was really that pissed off.
Now,
I would say-
Levi's is difficult because he's got a lot.
Levi
of
loses it a lot.
Levi's had a lot.
Levi did a lot of flare flopping.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
I remember I made one joke that popped Scott pretty good, but I don't think it was on
Remember what
air.
it was. You did.
One of my
remember
one of
what
my
it was.
favorites is when we did Cards Against Humanity. I put catharsis and Levi just like, you may as well run house, fool.
Funniest
cracked me
James
up.
moment. Funniest James moment goes back to him trying to tell Scott wrestling's a work.
Yep. Yep.
Walter.
Oh,
Walters is tricky. He's got a lot of good ones up his sleeve.
how
Oh,
was-
when Walter would do Raven. When Walt would do Raven.
yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, the
That's always
Raven.
the thing for
The
him.
Raven.
Always
Walter
doing the
did
Raven.
that one thing that was funny, and he did another thing that was funny.
Yep. Oh yeah, that thing. Yep.
And then
Now Scott,
Scott is Russian Sickle.
Russian Sickle.
Russian Sickle,
Well, Russian
or
Sickle, I do hesitate. I think the explanation of how the King of the Road match came to be and Levi's reaction might have gone above that.
I would still say, oh, put her in the bag.
Yes,
And but
cool.
the word all
Yeah.
started. I once
Jackass.
had a
I
jackass.
really don't think my impression of Raven was that funny. I think it kind of sucked, actually.
Yeah, but you.
I
Yeah,
don't think
it
about
was
it.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Not
it's
bad.
not bad. It's pretty good. It's probably one of my best impressions.
With Boss.
Boss,
That
his
AEW
30-minute
rant.
fucking AEW rant there a few weeks
Get
ago.
alive, kid.
Get a life, kid. Yep.
Sorry, I had to let my friend.
Now,
I had to let my
favorite
dog go.
Scott story, because Scott has told so many stories.
I think no story is better than the Missy Hyatt
Yes!
Carino story.
That
Yes!
one.
Which, by
Steve
the
Corino,
way,
Misty Hyde story.
why don't we
Yep.
tell that story again since it's
Yes.
the final episode? And
If
there's
you are a new
people
viewer
here.
out there,
Yeah. So while they're
Okay,
telling the
I gotta
story,
try to
I will
remember
be
this
right
one.
back, but I'll be listening.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to remember this story. Walt might remember it too. So this is a story that Steve Carino has told. Speaking of Missy, Steve Carino's told this story. It's out there for you to see. So I'm just regaling his story. I'm not involved in this. Okay. So Steve Carino and Missy Hyatt had this tumultuous relationship during the later days of ECW because Missy would come in for an occasional spot. She was longtime friends with Paul Heyman, so he would bring her in for a payday. And Missy was, as much as I want to say about Missy, she knew the business.
Mm-hmm.
But Carino and her were like this. They just
Buddy.
did not get along. So always butting heads because Steve was a huge fan of Eddie Gilbert. And Eddie Gilbert was married to Missy Hyatt. So as Steve Carino explained, he grew up looking at pictures of Missy on his wall and punching his clown to it. So as years go by, all of a sudden there's the actual Missy Hyatt in the locker room and he wants to be her friend, but Missy is just blowing him off and he's a jabroni to her. There is footage out there somewhere. I hope I didn't Mandela affect this, but I swear there's footage out there from ECW, like a house show. Missy Hyatt is in Steve's corner. And this is also when Steve has Jack Victory. And during matches, Carino was like laying on the bottom rope and you hear Missy looking at Steve going, come on, jabroni, come on, jabroni. And Steve actually is on the camera, looks and goes, my name is Steve. Like that. So that's the kind of heat they have. As time goes on, Carino gets a better reputation in the wrestling world, and Missy starts to lighten up to him. And they always had that back and forth thing. Finally, they saw each other at a convention and kind of settled everything and realized what the problem was. And he explained himself, she explained herself, and things were better. Then they started to be a little chummier and a little more buddy-buddy and all this stuff. So eventually, Carino's at this one show. Missy's there too. And Steve's going down in the car and all this stuff. And he gets a phone call from Missy. It's like, hey, I'm hanging out in my room. You want to stop by? And Carino's looking at the guy's Jack Victory. And the guy's going, go, go, go. The fraternity, go, go, go. All the guys that Missy has slept with. And he's like, it's not really like that. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe not.
He had the Raven mentality of mine.
Exactly.
I'm sure Raven is in the fraternity too, though.
He is in fraternity. That's another whole story. So eventually, Steve is down in Florida, and he's become real good friends with Dory Funk Jr. And Dory Funk down there living on Ocala, Florida. This one particular time, Missy was in town too. And Steve Carino was staying at Dory's house, and Missy was there too. So Dory and Steve are hanging out in this one room, and Dory says, hey, I got this 2 out of 3 falls 75-minute match with me and Jack Briscoe. You want to watch it? Steve Carino's like, yeah, I do. So Dory gets the tape, pops it in there. Dory gets up from the couch, walks off in this direction. All right, so Steve's sitting on the couch watching this match. Over here, a door opens, and it's a bedroom, and out comes Missy Hyatt. And Steve sees her and kind of thinks,
oh, God.
something's going to happen. So she sits down the couch here, and at this point, like I said, Missy and Steve are now buddy-buddy, and Steve has explained to her what kind of a diehard fan of Eddie Gilbert he was and how much he admired him and all that stuff. So she sits down on the couch next to Steve, is kind of like, did you mean all that stuff you said about Eddie? While she's talking, he's like focused on the match still because it's going on
like-
the TV. Like, yeah, I totally did. Yeah, yeah, oblivious to what's really happening.
It's kind of
So
like
eventually,
it's
It's like, all right, you know what? We're gonna move this on. So into the bedroom they go. And again, now I'm just repeating what Steve Corino said. He gets in the bed with Missy, and they start having a shoot. And as he says, she's a hell of a seller. Because she's kind of like, he knows he's not that good. You know, boss knows what that's like. So it's basically like, she's overselling this shit. You fucking. So he starts going at it even harder. And this is like a pretty good long duration that they're going to. Good on Steve. Not like Boss would do. But, you know, it's how it goes. I'm sorry. I just keep ragging on Boss here. The old guy's got to rag on the greenhorn. I'm sorry. They're going at it. And she's going crazy doing that stuff. And finally, Steve is like so into it, he can't get the 3 count. He can't go home. You know, can't get the pop. Till eventually, Missy is like, okay, this is getting kind of raw down here. And I don't mean Monday Night Raw.
Forgets the finish.
Not even Nitro. Trying to get to the finish. To which finally, I don't know the position they were in. Use your imagination, gentlemen and ladies out there. And she finally rears back, looks at Steve and goes, fuck me, hot stuff, fuck me. And that helps Steve get the motivation to take it home, hit the money shot. And they've been friends ever since.
That's copyright infringement to Valvitas, by the way.
And Missy denied it all.
Yes, Mr. Denial. So,
Oh, my
Yep.
lord.
God, I
What am
made fun of myself for my own sex life. What makes you think? What makes you think you got advantage on it?
What sex life?
That's fair.
mhm.
I filled up my own socks and pills before I did women.
You kids in socks. What the hell? Jeez.
Why?
You see
Oh.
one movie with somebody doing something with a pie, and you have to imitate it.
Oh God!
Why use a sock? Just paint your walls white and you're fine.
No, because they'll stop the show. My parents start questioning me. I'm like, I'm finger painting.
Mom, don't come in here. I'm studying.
So that's what they call it nowadays.
Painting, that was good.
Punch
I
the
gotta
clown.
give you that. That was good.
Punch the doink.
Or choke the chicken.
Well, no, the other good one was my dad's nads. That one was another good one too that I did.
Dance nads. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's
after
a
that,
lot of great memories with this show. That's
yeah,
definitely
absolutely,
true.
yeah.
Mhm.
The end of an era that went over 3 years and 2 months.
Yep.
So, but
Also, let's thank everybody out there that's hung out there with in the chat.
yes.
Shout out to Arthur Jones, who's been a big fan of ours and stopping by. My birthday brother is because he's also a July 8th baby. Not the same year, but he is also July 8th.
Harold
Thank
Abrams
my
Ghost.
Herb Abrams Ghost.
Zach.
Yo,
Yes.
Zach.
Yeah.
Double Z.
Shout out to
TV,
Zach. Damage
Uh,
Incorporated, Me Metal Mike.
Church
all the other guys who
Keys
stopped-
every once
Church
in a while.
Keys.
DJ
Yep.
Crystal Clear every once in a while.
Wiccan when she's able to stop in. All the cool people.
I was in the chat for a long
Yeah.
time.
Boss was in the
before I
chat for a while.
Ryan,
Yeah.
Damage Incorporated. came in
James
a few
was
times.
initially a guest on this show.
Yeah.
And we
For a
enjoyed
few
having him on so much.
episodes.
It's like, come on back, dude. And
Say-
boom,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yep.
He just never went away.
Oh, with me, I was a host once in a while. And
And then you came along full time
Yeah.
like early 22.
Mhm.
around there, yeah.
Yeah. And
I
then
came
Boss, the
along
late
the show, I
bloomer
think.
that came in just a few months ago.
Mhm.
Yep,
But
rounding.
and then all the guests that we had, like Chronix was
Chronix.
on here.
No, Dylan wasn't on here, was he?
Nah, which was shocking. Like we should have had
I could have
Kamikaze
sworn
on here at
Kamikaze
one
said he was
point.
going to be on here. Like, what, 20 times? He never did.
Well, keep in mind the guy works fucking 12 hours a day. He never
Yeah.
gets a
That's
break.
Very busy dude.
If he does, then he's doing his own.
I mean,
thing.
even it was luck we had him in Horseman at the beginning of Horseman.
We
so,
did have
yeah.
him on Horseman once, yeah.
Yeah.
But
He's
But
here
yeah,
talking about
he was an OG Shadow Culter back during the gaming era.
Yes,
Of the channel,
the Minecraft days, the Girthy Diamond days.
Yes.
Girthy burrito.
Which, speaking now, we gotta talk about Scott and I, our favorite memories of that time frame, which
Oh my
Girthy
god,
Diamonds, that fucking parkour session, I still watch.
that parkour session, my god.
That was
The Girthy burrito.
You had the Dean Ambrose skin,
yep.
and you like teleported me to another spot. Like,
You
what
son
happened?
of a
I
bitch!
teleported you. Why? I was fine. You go back to AEW, whiny bitch.
Your wife is too hot for you.
Wife is too hot for you. Now I'm on fire.
Yeah, like you and Dylan were the stars of that whole
Oh my
night.
God.
Especially
That's so
Dylan
crazy.
whenever he got to this one part
Oh my
on the
God,
top
Dylan.
pillar and he kept trying to jump.
He could not get that tower.
He's like, which actually, you know what? After this, we're gonna watch some of that together.
Yes,
like
we
the
are.
Dylan highlight.
They were fucking my own ass.
Oh, I
Because
forgot.
James Hill
One-
probably dies. seeing this,
One of my
but we'll save
defining
that.
moments. Finally.
Oh yes,
Oh yes.
Finally.
Nikita's
Yes.
autograph.
Yeah. After almost like a year of waiting, it finally came, which I'm like, finally.
That picture is.
Did I ever tell you guys? I must have told you guys the story of the greatest piece of fan art you can have that no one else is ever going to have that I have.
I don't think so. No.
Ric
I don't
Flair.
think so.
Something about Ric Flair.
Ric Flair's blood.
No. I don't think so.
I know about it.
He knows about it. I know where it is, but it'd take me too long to get it. Let me tell this real quick.
All right.
This actually goes hand in hand with another story I've told on here, but we won't tell that one. So went to a house show for the NWA. This is 89. They're coming to my area, which they never did. And they're going to the RPI Fieldhouse. This is the same venue that Clash of Champions 9 New York Knockout happened, the I Quit match between Flair and Funk. Well, before that, they did a house show in September. And this was at the RPI Fieldhouse. RPI Fieldhouse was a college at that time, is a college. And at that time, my sister's boyfriend went to that school. He was a security guard at the show. So I saw him, he saw me. So we chummed up a little bit there and talked to each other. And the main event that night was Flair and Funk. And Flair bled. After that show, the next day, he comes to my house. He says, "Here, I got this for you." He had the bandage that was put around Ric Flair's head. And I still have that bandage.
Damn.
So I own the DNA of Ric Flair.
So you can actually create your own Ric Flair.
Not saying I would want to, but I could. I just need a healthy ovum and I can make it happen. But yeah. So now I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. This can't be that. But I'm like, nobody else on that show bled that night. And this ain't marinara sauce. And it was still wet, by the way. I still remember him handing it to me. I'm like, he was like, "Oh, I got this for you." I was like, "Yeah, that's the bandage to put on Ric Flair. I thought you'd like it." I'm like, what? So, yeah. So I own the blood of Ric Flair.
That sounds like a line that, like someone's feuding with Flair would say. I have the blood of Ric Flair.
I have the blood of
in my
Ric
hands."
Flair.
Oh god. Sounds like something from like the Holy Grail. You're literally the Holy Grail.
Literally the Holy
And
Grail.
I still have Tony DeVito's chomped on cigar from when he did TSW.
Sweet.
Hmm.
Wow.
Nice.
That's crazy.
And Ricky has a picture of Nikita's.
One night we
Wait a
brought him
minute
in just so
here.
just to do a run in.
Yeah, that was because he was buddies with Leibold, who was booking at the time, and he was just there. So I think he beat up Towel Boy, didn't he?
Yeah, he beat up on Towel Boy. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was on Towel.
Yeah, it was
Everybody
Towel Boy.
beat on Towel Boy.
Yep. Eric Tuttle.
Eric Tuttle.
Yeah. If you guys remember the late ECW pay-per-views, there was one kid who would take a towel and run up and down the ropes,
Yes.
and all the crowd would go, "Whoa, whoa!" That was Eric Tuttle, Towel Boy, ECW ring crew member, trained by H.C. Loke. Me and Walt knew him, and because I was booking Loke, so he brought him with him. Okay, this kid was fucking greener than goose shit. I put him on my shows just that I was booking at the time as a favor to Loke. The kid's in match 2. He comes up to me and says, "Hey, can I bleed tonight?" I said no, and he looked at me like I was a dick. No!
Did you tell this story when you were talking about the 10 bloodies WWE matches?
Maybe.
Or was that a different one?
That may have been a different story.
Oh,
But,
because
yeah.
you were saying people come up to you saying, "I'm bleeding now." You're like, "You're in the second match. What do you mean?"
Yep, that was it then. That must have been it then. Yep, that was it. I have no idea what that kid is doing nowadays. I doubt he's in the business anymore, but wow. Yeah, that was one of those things back then.
Well, ladies and
It's one
gentlemen.
of those days.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ladies
But
and gentlemen.
Walter is back in the. By the way, we've gone full circle because Walt is back in the independent scene as a ring announcer for a local promotion, and he was just there last week at a big show. So
Nice.
he's just they thought he was out, they pull him back in.
Yep.
I had to work with Lindsay Dorado.
One more match.
and-
One more
Lindsay Dorado?
match. One more match. One more match.
No,
No, I know.
his
I'm
wife will
not in the
kill him.
physical condition to work another match.
Mm-hmm.
Got to work with Lindsay Dorado. Lindsay Dorado and Sean Carr had a phenomenal match. Probably one of the best matches I've seen.
It's on YouTube.
live.
It's on YouTube. I did see it too. It's really good.
Did you see that shooting star? How low that ceiling was?
Yeah,
Oh,
and he
wow.
fucking hit it like a pro. He got a gun. He got a
King
gun.
and I. Well, yeah. King is right next to me. Mike. He's like, oh my fucking god, is he can't, no, oh shit, we're gonna break a light, we're gonna break something, and when he hit it, we both like all lost it.
Mhm.
Speaking of indies, on Monday I might go, depending if I get out early work. There is a midget wrestling event coming to my
Oh,
town.
wow.
You better fucking
Metro
go.
Championship Wrestling?
You better fucking go.
I'm thinking of going, and they're all
Midget
midgets.
mania.
Even the fucking referee's a midget, and it's a big ring, like a
Wow.
legit ring.
So they're going to
Yeah,
need a step stool in order to get into the ring.
Step ladder match.
Step ladder match. A guy Walter and I know, he was the promoter for a promotion we worked for. He actually promoted, used his promoter's license to have a midget wrestling show happen at a strip club.
Oh, wow.
And now that guy's in jail.
Ah.
I wonder why.
Not because of that, something else, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, ladies and gentlemen, that closes
stains
the
on the
book
wall so
on. That closes the book on the Shadow Kvlt Podcast. 155 episodes. Who would have thought we'd last this long? I know I didn't.
I can't last 155 seconds in bed.
We know.
First of all, fuck
Quit
these guys.
taking my
Fuck
gimmick
these
of
guys.
self-burial, goddammit. Get your own shit, kid.
Hey, it's best to bury yourself.
Gimmick
before someone
infringement.
else tries
That's
to.
gimmick infringement, damn it.
That is strike 8!
More like strike 50 at this point.
Get a
But,
Shit!
But before we go, one final quick plug from everybody around the horn. Starting off with the Walter.
I don't have anything to plug.
Nope.
No, nothing.
No butt plug?
For once I don't, I'm at a loss for words.
That's
Levi,
strike
you're back.
100.
You're welcome.
How small is it?
It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. It's like
Anyways.
trying to put a golf ball through a garden hose.
Anyways, boss.
You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at BossOP6, where
I'm timing this.
where I just did
Go on.
another- I'm doing another part
10,
of Weekend Wrestling.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're done. Moving on.
Boss.
I
Reiki.
did another rendition of Weekend Wrestling News where I did a little more on that part because there was a lot of stuff that happened. Again, rest in
Yeah.
peace, Mantar.
Yeah.
And still doing my Bolt Thrower retrospective. I feel like I've been saying that for weeks now, but I've had a lot of shit going
Still
on
working
with
on
me,
it.
so I'm getting there though. But I did yesterday review the newest Evil album, The Unknown, which, unlike a certain person, I actually love that album. It's basically doom metal with thrash and sludge metal moments. Again, vocals a bit strained, but I really dug it. And then I also reviewed the newest Tailgunner album, Guns for Hire, which is basically just solid new wave British heavy metal. It's their first album, and yeah, it was solid for what it is. So yeah, check out there.
Scott?
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. I'm under It's Mr. Scott. You want to find me? You know where to find me. Horns high.
Ricardo? Richard? Dick?
Come on, I know you got more.
Dickard? Dicky?
Ricardo.
Rick?
There you go.
Ricardo.
Dickie DiCardo.
Only Levi can have the
Ricky
privilege of saying
Ricardo.
that. Only Levi has the privilege of saying that. But subscribing on my YouTube channel, Horror Master, I uploaded the latest episode of my controversial album cover series on Tapo Negative's The Origin of the Feces. And stay tuned for next week's episode as I do Iron Maiden's The Number of the Beast. Catch me on my Instagram, Mark and once in a while catch me on Levi's channel, eventually on the Archives of the Shadow Kvlt, and of course doing Horseman, eventually popping in on his live streams whenever he does live streams.
Origin of the Feces, leaky butthole.
James?
Find me on my YouTube at We Are Pro Wrestling. Follow me on all my social media platforms. You can find them in the comment section of any of my episodes. Check them all out. Follow me. Subscribe to me.
And finally, if you haven't already, help me get to 4,000 followers. I got CDs to give away. Subscribe to me on YouTube, ThrashManiac99. Follow me on Instagram at ThrashManiac_YT. Help me get to 2,000 followers over there. And then finally, follow and or subscribe to me on Twitch at ThrashManiac99. Help me get to 500 followers over there, please, people. But anyways, this concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Jackass.